Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends and another in our series of I Built Them So You Don't Have To. Today we're going to take a look at Sir Armitage. Sir Armitage is one of the newer Bannerlords to enter the scene. He is an epic champion. So we pulled him last weekend during a hype train. Last weekend, maybe the weekend before. Time flies. Anyway, we pulled him as part of a hype train. I have a standing rule on Twitch. If we get a level 5 hype train, I pull a champion. We build that champion. We have a double feature for this one because we also pulled Tyrell. So in our next video, we're going to take a look at Tyrell 3 years later. But right now, we're going to focus on Sir Armitage. So why don't you just hit that subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the bell for some notifications, sit back, relax, and let's talk about Sir Armitage. Ring True removes all debuffs from this champion that attacks all enemies. Unshakable Valor attacks one enemy, will ignore 30% of the target's defense. Places a 50% increased attack buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. These buffs cannot be removed. Nobleman's Mace attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit has a 40% bookable to 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. The second hit has a 40% bookable to 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Alright, there was Sir Armitage in action. Let's take a look at gear we did for this. So first of all, we need to go over his skills a little bit. I know we did a review in the intro, but I just want to talk about this when we think about how we're going to build out this champion. First of all, he has this. So we want him to kill an enemy. This is important, but it's not the first thing he's going to use. He's going to remove all debuffs from this champion and attack all enemies. This is the ability he's going to use first. So we're focusing around him using this and then following it up with this and then finally doing this. So these are a bonus to me. When I look at him, he's an attack-based nuker with an AoE, with a pretty hard-hitting, A2, or sorry, AoE or A2, and then a pretty hard-hitting A3, apologies. And then also gets the increased attack and increased crit damage. These are like, it's a 40%, it's a 50-50 on the speed and the defense. And it's 2 hits, but only the first one does speed or defense, the second one does speed. So it's a little bit different. So I decided to go full nuke. You can see here, this is actually my my gear that I normally use for Trunda. It's amazing the difference it makes when you have it on a different champion. Obviously she has a way better attack. She's over 7,300. And you can just see with those the difference in those multipliers. But we see here we're not putting accuracy on him for that A1. I can see where that might be useful, but in the grand scheme of things, not useful enough. I want him to hit, and I want him to hit hard. So we got that 5,700, we got that 2,500 defense, whoopee, speed 178 because we're having him go last. The reason I'm thinking is because then he can get those debuffs on him possibly, but then he'll shake them off with his A2 and do that damage. And then follow up with a pretty hard hitting A3, 260 crit damage. So that's what we're building him in. Obviously on Savage, I do have a broken set here. Just happens to be the gear that I have, like I said, on my Trunda. And then we have some gear here. Obviously this gear's not as big as the Trunda gear I have on him, but it's going to do the job. A couple double roll attacks. So that's what we have for him today. Where are we going to put him in? Well, he is a Force Affinity champion. So we're probably going to take him into the Dragon and see what he can do there. So why don't we jump into the Dragon, see if he can do some help and make some noise in that dungeon. All right, so we're going to bring in a little team here. We've got Pickup, we've got Damage, we've got some max HP here. Let's take off Super Raids. We don't need to double down on this. But just to see the kind of damage, and I got to be honest with you, kind of impressed with his damage. So 52 to 63 is not as hard as Magnar's A2 here on the waves. It's a little bit underwhelming, but not not a whole lot so. And his A3 is vicious. I know it's single target, but I mean, you can see what Huska's doing. You can see Magnar's 45 on his A1. He's 34. He actually gets 2 hits, so keep that in mind. And he's putting a cannot be removed crit damage buff and attack buff when he kills someone with that target, which hits very hard. So I at least like the fact that there is the synergy and it works really well here. We'll see what happens throughout the rest of this fight. Particularly the boss, I'm not too worried about the waves. Remember, this is 25. So he's hitting this hard on level 25. You see that's A1, there's 30, 40. So 75, 117 on that A2. It's not a bad hitting 65, 82. He does have a refresh ring, so that's why you saw it twice in a row. That's not some kind of mechanic. But I gotta say, like, his damages are nice. The boss is where we'll really see where he shines here. We'll first make sure we get the we'll get the debuff up, and then we'll look at the numbers we get here. Okay, so we get 60k, 183 on the boss with that on a level 25 dragon with his A3. His A2 hit for 45. 434. That's the enemy max HP, obviously. 90k with his A1. I gotta tell you, he's not a bad damage dealer. I think A2. We're gonna do a 1-to-1 comparison here. I gotta see this again because it seems, I don't know if I'm not picking it up quite or what's going on here, but I feel like his A2 has a wild variance, and I don't. Maybe we'll take a look and see if we're missing something here. But 224 with his A3. That's a big hitting number. Now the only downside here is that he doesn't get a kill on the boss, right? So he's never gonna get that bonus crit damage and attack up. Oh, he's gonna die here. That's gonna take him down. That's okay. It might be a few turns to get him back up. I mean, I have him pretty glass cannon, so I'm not shocked here. As long as she lives. Is she gonna live? Jeez. I feel like I wanted him to save that for after the boss does that. Alright. Oh god, we're gonna need that A3. Does he have the A3 up? No. Oh god. Oh god. Oh, someone live. Oh, he lived. We're good. We're good. We're good. He'll kill him. Boom. Okay. Well, I mean, shoot. He died, and still good damage. So what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna do one of each hit. So I brought in Krisk because Krisk is gonna be able to crowd control and allow this situation. Okay, I need the debuffs full. I love doing that. Not like we haven't burned a ton of energy. All right, this is why I don't do these anymore, because it's such a gross waste of energy. There we go. So we're gonna taunt. We got everyone good. So we're gonna do is A2 first, and then what we'll do, just to be fair, we'll attack her. I think she's the lowest defense. We'll just do that. I don't want to add too much damage. We'll do is A3. Oh. And then we'll do that. Yeah, this is fine because it's just gonna make sure those debuffs are still up. Right? It's not affecting anything. And then what we'll do is we'll have him attack the other what's her name? She's a sorceress, right? There we go. So now I've done one of each hit. So that's total damage with his gear. We're gonna take a picture of that. It's a total damage of 572,082 combined damage. So let's bring this. Man, this is expensive. 20 each time. I should take him into Doom Tower. I know better. Except for the affinity is never what you want. Okay, no. Hey, look at that. We didn't get any resists. That's good. All right, let's A3 this. Boom. Probably good numbers. Then, you know what? We'll hit... we do the same thing, so we're going to A1 there. We're going to A1. Now her A2. She's going to kill. She killed her. She overkilled her. So that's a thing. It's kind of unfair because she overkilled. So, in theory, she should be even doing more damage than this. She got the 2 hit, left her a little bit of health. So let's back out. So again, 572, 082. I have a feeling she just whooped his ass. 604, 039. So that's about 60,000, 30,000 difference, right? 604 versus 572. All right, we're going to bring him into arena. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to give this a try. We'll lock him out. So good, we locked him out. Yeah, that makes sense. They've got really high accuracy. So let's just keep everyone alive. Or high resistance, sorry. So, do I use this or do I use and kill like one of their champions? Let's do this. Oh, stupid reaction gear. God, I hate reaction gear. Get rid of it, Plarium. You just ruined the game. Alright, alright. Okay, settle down. Settle down. Settle down. Oh, we provoked the person we wanted. Get rid of the Mountain King. I mean, as far as damage goes, pretty happy with it. See what his AoE does. Well, we got a swift parry. Good damage, I think, all around. Right? He resisted the... I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. Die. Oh, of course that happened. Settle down. Oh, yeah, why wouldn't you go after him every time? Fucking, it's not like I'm trying to test for him. So I'm really glad you're targeting him when I'm trying to test his abilities. That's really thank you very much. Really bad. Oh, look at that. 100%. 100%. Why wouldn't it be 100%? It's on defense. Me and defense have a hate-hate relationship, or me and Arena have a hate-hate relationship right now. What kind of damage can we do? Boom, 132, easy damage. It wasn't a really good match. Problem is where I am, there's something messy here. There's something broken. There's one person in platinum. And it looks like he got hit into platinum. I don't know what's going on. It's obviously broken. They obviously aren't doing anything about it. But we're trying to find a team to showcase this guy's powers. Maybe we bring in this, but then I gotta go faster than, like, that's gonna outspeed me. Unless we... Like, what if you don't have a Magnar? Can you use him as a Force Affinity or a Force Affinity Magnar? Say that you're trying to, because look, you got Rotos here. Maybe you want to try to deal with him. Who am I trying to? I don't even know who I'm trying to bring in here. I don't even know who to bring in. Is this, what game am I playing? Okay. Hey. Okay. I'm faster. That is exactly not what I wanted to see. Let's lock him out. Let's weak hit against you. Good. Strong weak hits. Thank you. That's good. All right. So what I would do if coming into this position is I want to kill someone, so I can get that buff. Right. So we got that buff. That's good. Now let's protect him because he's gonna go. He's probably gonna attack one of these two. Let's just stop him from attacking as best we can. Maybe our boy will get a chance to go here. He does good damage again. Of course, he gets 7 turns. That's good. Glad this game's consistently ridiculous. I almost should have used her A2 there just to keep him alive, but I think we're okay. Good. She's going to put you to death because this game hates my fucking life, but I don't think she can really do anything. It's just going to take a long time now to play out. I don't know. Like, he's fragile. He doesn't have a lot of health, and that's typical of epic nukers. Do we try again? Is this a team I even want to face? 448. What am I even? I'm fighting platinum level defenses. Can we get something different here? No, just more of the same. Yeah. No, good. I didn't want to. Oh, look, all plus. Like Shaolin. Like, these are all double. See, you got a wither double. Oh god. So are they fast? I don't know. Do I care? Probably they're fast. What kind of order is this in? Is this really in? Feel like I want to. I don't know. How fast can they be without a speed aura? Don't answer that. Let's try this. Of course why wouldn't he? Give him another turn. There we go. Good. Nothing if not consistent. You know what I mean? His problem is he dies. Like look at him. He's almost dead already. I need to get rid of her before she heals everyone. She's locked out for at least another. We're good for another turn with that bitch. Like, good damage. I don't understand why he's going up against him when there's a weak affinity. Rodos is the one champion that just seems to give no fucks about affinity. Uh-oh. Are you stunned? You look a little stunned there, boy. Are you dazed? Alright. Well, I don't know. I think he hits pretty hard. I don't think he's my favorite for arena. But I think, like, look, I mean, he one-shot a Siphi. He killed the other Siphi through an AoE. The AoE was doing decent damage. Before I get into the final thoughts here, I just want to apologize for the rough cuts on this video. I had some issues with audio yesterday, and I had some issues with my breaks. Without going into detail of how I create my breaks so I know when to edit, it didn't work properly. So a lot of the times I had to cut pieces out and rearrange them properly, and so that's why you get these rough flash edits and stuff like that. I apologize. Not normally what I do. I try to keep it fairly seamless, and I try to have good, strong breaks between content so that, you know, this is when the dragon ends, this is when the arena begins, that sort of stuff. So it was a little bit wonky, but I think you get the message. And now we'll get into the final thoughts of Sir Artimage. I think this is a champion who's very strong early game. Very strong early game. His A3 is among the harder hitting champions among epics. He's got an AoE A2 that's going to be very helpful, clearing out all sorts of content, and an A1 that has a debuff. What's going to happen is you're going to phase him out in arena. So my thought is you get him early, you build him out, you use him in arena. He's got a 20% arena aura, which is very strong early game, when the best you get is when you get her for free High Katoon. And High Katoon's not a champion I usually recommend building, other than very good for arena. But here now you don't have to worry about that. For example, say you have a Seeker and an Artimage. Perfect combination. You got the speed boost, so you can make your speed lead As far as your fastest champion, Seeker, and then Artimage would be perfect for using as your aura lead and your nuker for Arena. He's going to be phased out. He's not strong enough to get into gold, I don't think. He's a bronze, silver type champion for Arena. He does have end game potential damage in Arena, but it would be very specific to, you know, you have to kill one champion, need that champion gone, and then you want to follow up with some strong AoE damage. So in that case, you're going A3 into A2. You're getting those buffs that cannot be stripped. The transition to PvE is pretty seamless with this champion. He's a typical nuking champion. He's going to help you get through things like Secret Rooms, Faction Wars, Doom Tower, where you need a strong Force Affinity champion. He's a good plug-and-play champion. He's probably not your primary wave clearer, but he's not bad. Honestly, for as far as waves and regular dungeons go, I would say he's probably better than Magnar because he can buff his own damage. He has an A1 that hits harder than anyone else's, and he's got enough of an A2 that he can help you out there. The biggest problem, of course, is that he's less survivable than Magnar, so maybe even a really good pairing with the two of them together, depending on obviously what dungeon you're doing and where you're trying to get through content. But he was doing big damage against the dragon, and really like the fact that here's a champion that can do that top tier damage against a dragon without sacrificing anything else. Like it's not an enemy max HP. It's not a crazy level champion. Though I did put pretty good gear on him in this particular instance. The final transition, I think he's a good Faction Wars champion. There's not a ton of nuking champions in the faction, which makes him really nice. You have a couple good supports with him, and I think he's going to carry you pretty far in Faction Wars. So overall, you saw the damage against Alika, which is a nice thing here. He was, I did forget one thing when I was mentioning his damage, and that was the overkill she did. So she did about 60,000 more on her A2 than his A3, keeping in mind that he did not have a self buff at the time. So she did hit harder. Now his AoE hit harder than hers. And then, of course, the A1s, she got the double hit, which means she hit better. If she doesn't get the double hit, she doesn't hit better. So overall, Alika's great damage. But when you consider the fact that this guy, reasonably speaking, really only needs 6 books. And if you get unlucky, 8 books. And the damage is nice anyway. So I would just say 8 books versus 18 books, making Sir Artimage a much more friendly champion to build out, especially if you're free to play early game, than Alika is. And you know I'm such a huge fan of Alika, but I would actually argue that this champion's a better champion than Alika to use as a low spend player, because his book requirement is the book value there is so extreme. And he's so versatile because you can use that A3 before the A2 to buff the A2, or you can use the A2 first to clear out some waves and then follow up with the A3 on champions that need to be killed, right? I don't see any reason why you can't use him in any dungeon. And overall, I think you have a champion that's worthwhile building. So those are my final thoughts. What do you think? Is this a champion you would use? Do you feel like his damage was overwhelming, underwhelming, or right what you expected? Let me know in the comments down below. Finally, again, I apologize for the awful editing on this particular video. I promise to do better. Please check out, I have a couple videos in the pipeline as well. We have a revisit of Tyrell 3 years later as part of this series. I never did an original video on him, so it'd be nice to take a look at him, really build him out and see what we can do with him 3 years later, right? And then the other thing we have coming up is I did a High Elves versus Ice Golem for a clan challenge. So stay tuned for those, but in the meantime, of course, as always, please be safe, be kind, and we'll see you in the next video.